Hey everyone, welcome to Nims Tutorials, or Nims TOOTS for short. This is where we teach you how to build something awesome in Minecraft following our 3 tenets: time efficiency, max understanding, and max entertainment. I'm Nims, and I run them. They're here tutorials, and today we're going to be looking at automatic melon and pumpkin farms. Most are really inefficient because of lost or floating items, they're bulky in size, or come with lots of lag between the entity counts and millions of firing pistons. And that's where this little beauty comes into play. It's very small, only 3 by 5 by 4. It's completely lossless and extremely modular. I've got 3 mock-up designs here, all using the same modular unit, and I'm going to be teaching you how to build the one I think will be the most popular, the tower. But you can check them all out by downloading the world file in the description below. Before we get started, make sure you've got all the required blocks on hand. I've included the list in the description box, and you can see them all in my inventory here. For step 1, we'll be building the bottom half of this modular pumpkin/melon farm. We'll start out by placing 2 dirt blocks side by side, then grab 3 hoppers and place them in kind of a boomerang fashion like so. Then we're going to place a redstone torch on that backmost hopper with a redstone repeater facing inward from that redstone torch. Then we're going to grab 3 design blocks. These are pretty blocks. They're the blocks that you think look the nicest. Make a V shape here, then add a water source block in like so. Then add a wall here with 3 more of your pretty boy blocks to prevent any items from going flying out of this bottom area. Step 2 starts off with a simple sticky piston placement, followed by a glass block in front of that sticky piston. Then we're going to add 2 of our pretty boy designer blocks on top of that sticky piston glass combo. Place down any block, any junk block we'll destroy it later to build off of. Then we're going to be adding a dropper facing upwards, then a hopper facing downwards. That's all very easy to do if you just jump pillar up. Then place down a comparator, and then a piece of redstone on top of those 2 pretty boy blocks like so. Then we're going to drop back down to ground level and destroy that junk block we placed earlier, and then replace that junk block into the dropper like so. Step 3 is pretty easy. All we're going to be doing is tilling the land here, adding a stem of choice, whether that's pumpkin or melon, does not matter, and then place a glowstone block on top of it, or alternatively you could place a block behind here and then place a torch where this glowstone block is to make sure that your stem can continue to produce you fruit during the darkest of dark nights. That concludes the base module of this design. You can now test this by grabbing a melon or a pumpkin and placing that in front of our piston glass. You can see that the piston quickly extends, destroying the melon, and that the melon slices are gathered by our hoppers. Now to turn this into the awesome tower design, we're going to start by destroying these 3 blocks on the side and adding a dirt block here. Then we need to upgrade our hopper array into this 3 by 3 hopper square. Then we're going to add redstone repeaters off the side of this redstone torch, making a plus pattern like so. Then we're going to add 3 pieces of dirt onto each side of this hopper array, and then we'll go back to something very, very similar to step 1, placing that V shape of pretty boy blocks and adding a water bucket into the middle of it. Then repeat that for the last 2 sides. From here, we'll just be repeating step 2, but multiplying it as many times as you need layers. So you're going to place down the pistons with the glass in front of them, place your 2 pretty boy blocks on top, place a dropper facing upwards, then a hopper facing downwards, a redstone comparator, and then a piece of redstone dust on top. Drop back down, destroy your junk block, then add any old junk block into that dropper, and again repeat it for the last 2 sides. Again, step 6 is a repeat of step 3. It's crazy easy. We're just going to till all this outside land like so, then go back and add our seed of choice to all this tilled land, and then add glowstone blocks so that way nothing can trample it, and again so it can grow in the darkest of dark nights. Step 7 is the very last step. Woohoo, you did it! And it turns the base tower here that we've got into the stackable tower. You're going to pick any corner, doesn't matter, and build that 4 hoppers up, taking care that they all stack into each other. Then off that 4th hopper, we're going to build a 3 by 3 hopper platform. This should start to look familiar. And then we're going to add our 3 dirt blocks off the side of it like so. Just repeat this around each side. And now you should start to see how we're emulating this bottom pattern here, up here. And then you would just continue to repeat steps 1 through 6 as many times up as you need. The last thing that you're going to need to note is that to turn this into like a pretty finished tower design, we're just going to add these blocks here, give it a nice, really clean, finished look, really pull the whole thing together and give it a really nice tower design. Oh, and one more thing. On these stackable hoppers here, you can replace every other hopper with chests. This kind of serves a double function. It saves on iron, and it also gives you some overflow room should your final collection point ever fill up. Lastly, I wanted to throw some extra information at your face. By now, you've probably put together this redstone torch redstone repeater combo, pushes a signal into that melon or pumpkin, causing it to become a powered block. That powered block then causes this dropper here to drop its item up into this hopper. This comparator then sees that item, says, "Oh my god, there's an item," sends out a signal, causes this sticky piston glass block to become powered, pushes forward, thus destroying the melon or pumpkin. That melon or pumpkin then gets gathered by this hopper array here. Since this hopper is pointing downward, it drops its item back down into the dropper, which causes the comparator to shut off, the piston to retract, and now the machine is ready for the next melon or pumpkin to grow. Also, we're going to look at the efficiency and rates of this machine. We're going to use a torch here to represent a stem. Now, every stem in relationship to a dirt block is going to give you about 3 to 4 harvests per hour. We'll just call it 3 for easy math. So this right here will give us about 3 harvests per hour. If we were to add another dirt block here, that's going to give us 3 per hour out of this dirt block, and then another 3 per hour out of this. So this will be worth a total of about 6 harvest per hour. Now if we were to come over here and go stem, dirt block, stem, well, this stem is going to give us 3 per hour, and this stem is going to give us 3 per hour, so this will also be worth 6. If we come over here to another design I've built using the same module, we'll destroy this block so we've got a little bit more of a condensed version. This stem with this dirt block is going to give us about 3 per hour. Then this stem completely separately is going to give us 3 an hour out of this block, and then another 3 an hour out of this one. So these 4 blocks here are going to be worth more like 9 harvests per hour. So if we were to come back here over to the tower design, we've got 3, 6 here. So if we take 6 per side, it's 6, 12, 18, 24. Yay, Nims, you passed 2nd grade. You could do basic math. So each layer is going to be worth about 24 harvests per hour. So if we were to go ahead and add this 2nd layer here, that would boost it to about 48 an hour. Lighting is also a big part of this, as we already touched on. If you were to say try to destroy these glowstone blocks and place solid blocks here instead, well, first that won't work because stems can't produce fruit if there's a solid block directly overhead. If you can't get a bunch of glowstone to put here, an alternative is you could destroy that and you could put torches up instead. That's not as safe because you're kind of risking your stems being trampled. Not that big of a deal, it's pretty unlikely, but glowstone is the most recommended. Also, if you're going to be building this on a server and notice excessive, oh hey, we just got a harvest, notice excessive block bouncing off the top of hoppers because hoppers are a little bit bugged, you can put carpet directly over top of the hoppers, and that kind of helps with that block bouncing. Alright, well that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, everyone, and don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. This has been Nims TOOTS, and hopefully it didn't stink. We'll see you next time.